you can't get an experience gap that is wider on the big stage than the likes of Mission versus Lazar. I want to see if the rookie can do something or if Mission's just going to slam him into the ground.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tough one for him for sure. I think this match from SEM9's perspective, most of it does come down to what the jungler can do to actually impact. He does have a priority matchup versus the the Viego, and he does have potentially shoving lanes in the top side and also some kill and pick potential with Lazar in the mid side as well. So I think Arashi is going to be where most of my focus on. In the bot side, you do see some potential for maybe level 3 to overpower them with the Jhin matchup, but overall bot lanes have been pretty static from what we've seen. And just taking a look at the runes right here, there's actually something a little bit new that we're seeing, but Rest is going to go with the Lethal Tempo, a very aggressive rune into the likes of Graves. This is basically a level 6. We're going to chase you down. I hit my triple slow, and I can cut you to pieces. That's sort of the goal that he's going for. It's not your usual sort of a laning setup with the Conquerors and a little bit more sustain. This is an outright level 6 kill with the Ghost Summoner being selected as well.
Yeah, we've seen this from Gwens in the past, of course, but, with the new season change-ups, it's not quite as easy as it may have been before. Early start, a little bit of Ward Wars. This is just going to be the supports bashing heads. In fact, though, Koala does manage to get the better of Ophelia there with a little help from Atlan. Still got to be careful up against the Jhin lane. The range for Klayax is going to be his saving grace to kick things off on this Jhin.
Yeah, we are just going to see Atlan try to outshove this lane. And so far, Jinx has been the, outside of Zeri, has been the dominant AD carry of the PCS. Great late game potential. And we're seeing these level 1 trades as a huge part of it as well. Just, switch over to Rocket and just shove in the entire backline minion. We've seen this happen quite a bit. Jhin has been a very favorite champion as well, but I think he's mainly played for the potential to get picks outside of his own lane. So we're going to see how that comes in. And Arashi already making that trip down to the bot lane. However, I do want to mention that he was actually spotted on his Raptors. And you can see Atlan right now placing the ward down, knowing that Lee Sin might be lurking around this bot side.
Yeah, CFO definitely showing good game sense, paying attention on the minimap and getting those wards down early. It's good to see. This is the team that has all the fundamentals. They have such an experienced core. As we mentioned in week 1, our biggest question mark was how well Atlan was going to be able to perform with this team of superstars. So far, so good. There's plenty of games to play yet, but, if he can hang with everybody, it's kind of hard to find a weak point on this team.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, we have to focus in onto the mid lane once more. Somehow Mission is up a full wave.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
Mission.
happened there. But, yeah, this is why I'm not a huge proponent of the Zoe matchup. I feel like it's actually pretty difficult to get out of lane against the Syndra. In the LPL, this is definitely considered a counter pick. And this is painful. This is just very difficult to watch.
That is the Mission diff right there. Unfortunately for Lazar, welcome to the PCS. Enjoy your stay. Mission is going to try and shove your face in, or at least freeze you out for a little while. Good start for the Syndra. That is going to be a pain in the behind for SEM9 for a little while. Still keeping an eye on Arashi as he's hanging around in this mid. He could potentially go in and try to get a gank or at least peel a flash off of Mission, but look at how safe he's actually playing in this one, and there's not a lot of vision for him just now, but they have to know he's hanging around.
Yeah, and you can see this is the sort of diversity that CFO can throw at you. If they're winning in their mid lane, it can actually allow their side lanes and their jungler to just free scale up. There's no pressure on CFO right now, despite Lee Sin and Zoe, two very strong early game champions. And honestly, if I'm CFO, I don't really have to do anything in this setup. I just hold all of my lanes steady, make sure both of my side lanes are warded up. And the most important thing for a jungler in this spot is actually just not to show. If you don't show anywhere on the map, then Arashi can't pick apart one of these lanes because he has to be thinking about the potential for a counter gank. Now, I like what Lazar is doing here. This is definitely what you should do if you're getting frozen out. You try to tag their jungler and make sure you can find those 2v1 opportunities.
Always an opportunity. It looks like it's going to be a 2v2 opportunity down bottom, but just supports trading health bars for the time being. Nobody's interested in an all-in just yet. And as you mentioned, yeah, controlled gameplay. Controlled aggression even from the likes of CFO, who don't have to do much because they do have such great late game between that Gwen and that Jinx. Also the Viego, who always has pop-off potential. There's so many threats here, and Mission's winning early when he's supposed to. So everything going according to plan to kick things off.
Yeah, and we have seen a very similar comp idea being ran in the LPL, where this comp does extremely good off of resets. You get the get excited from Atlan. He's going to be attacking with 25% just overall attack speed buff. And then you have Gemini, who's going to be able to get an entire new champion worth of skills to just pop off and continue to roll throughout the composition. And, you know, the first kill is actually very easy to set up when you have Nautilus and Syndra together. So it's a very well-rounded comp. It's strong late. It has power points early. And now we're seeing potentially CFO actually go into a mistake because they were spotted by Lazar's ward. This could be a trap they walked themselves into.
Not pulling the trigger just yet, even though Lazar does get stunned by the Scout of the Week. Arashi and Philia are hanging around here for this potential 3v3, and of course everybody realizes what's happening around the same time, decides maybe we don't take this. Instead, there is a pretty free Cloud Dragon if we want to go ahead and secure that.
Yeah, not really sure if that stealth ward was able to see around the corner, but it looks like CFO were aware that Philia was just right there underneath the tower, so they don't pull the trigger even when they do land the stun, and they just continue to scale up, which, as we said before, is perfectly fine against their opponent's comp.
Yeah, all they have to do, and you can already start to see in most of the lanes a pretty good separation of that farm, you know, about 11 CS up in the mid, 20 in the bottom, and Atlan is just tearing it up. The rocket poke is relentless here, and there's not a lot PlayX and Philia can do. Koala has also been great at just not only keeping those captive audiences cleared, but getting up in the face of both bottom laners.
That's really well played by CFO overall. We do have the sort of bot lane attention with the first jungle rotation towards that side of the map, and the warding was on point. They did spot the earlier Arashi path where they were going to go, and that's just how you play the Jinx versus Jhin matchup. You just constantly push him in with your rockets. They got the front line over with the execution right off on the first wave. You know, they push in the second wave with just Qs, and, you know, PlayX has been staying underneath tower ever since. So we really have this situation where all of the agency has to come from SEM9. They have to find a pick. I like what they're doing here. Top lane has been one of the only winning points on the map for them. They're going to use that and try to get some skirmishes going.
We'll talk about that in a minute because we got a skirmish on the bottom side. Clayhouse getting caught up by the grenades. The Flame Chompers, no level 6. No, he just hits it. Atlan, he doesn't have the mana as he just fires it off at the last second. And Philia intercepts. 80 carry getting saved by his support. It's a tale as old as time, Clement.
That was such a good play. If you do that play for Uzi, he immediately invites you and you get to play on BLG. So well done there by Philia. You have passed the Uzi test. You are loyal to the core, to your 80 carry. However, we still do have to call this as it is. This is a huge win for CFO. They get both of the summers from PlayX and some turret plates to boot. Yeah,
great start here. Going to be even more as Atlan will be able to secure up. Not quite that last plate. The minions are going to take care of the rest of it. Meanwhile, back to the mid, Lazar. Not a whole lot of mana. Just goes running away as Gemini comes scarily out of the bushes. Checking back in, as you mentioned, the only lane that was really winning on the SEM9 side was up top. And that started to flip once again. Rest has actually taken over the CS game. And here we might get a bit of a jungle skirmish as Gemini has actually found out, dodging away from Arashi. Nicely done, but he cannot compete with this unless the rest of the team wants to collapse. SEM9 are deciding to hit the go button here at 8.5.
Yeah, they do have a momentarily numbers advantage, but they have to use it right now. If this drags on, Jinx is going to be in the fight.
Yeah, I think so, and they're actually just going to go for it. In goes Koala, and the rocket goes ahead and splits the uprights, but it doesn't matter. The kill comes in, and it is just all coming up CFO. Arashi tries to get some revenge, will manage to take out only Koala at the expense of damn near the rest of his team.
And that's the combo we were talking about. It's just way too easy to chain damage when you have Syndra and you have Nautilus to just make sure everyone stays in place. You see Gemini flying in to get the extra damage. They didn't even need to use a super mega death rocket. That one went straight through the team and they were still able to execute everyone. So we're going to watch that combo being executed once more. Rest goes in, throws in the ultimate. That's a 4-man slow. Then you have the Scatter of the Week on everyone. You also have Gemini going in and just picking up resets. I really feel like SEM9, they were a little bit too hesitant on the play. If they had that 5v4, they needed to make use of it right then and right there. But unfortunately for them, the bottom lane from CFO, especially Koala, was able to join the fight, and that golden opportunity just kind of slipped them by.
Yeah, with all of that gold that CFO were able to accumulate, going ahead and buying themselves some shiny new mythic items. Divine Sunder completed now on Gemini. Rest has got the Riftmaker. Everybody else not too far behind there. And this is just going to get really tough for SEM9. At 10 minutes, we've got a pretty heavy gold deficit of about 3,500. They're down the Dragon. Of course, the Rift Herald not even been used just yet, still sitting in Mission's pocket. And they kind of went half-heartedly into that one. It was a bit odd. I think they were second-guessing it themselves.
Yeah, I feel like they probably should not have gone all in for that one. Their bot lane was very lagging behind in tempo. They wanted to do a top lane swap and continue the dominance from SEM9 in the top side. However, with that going down the drain, I feel like they're in really dire straits. And again, I think a lot of it does come down to that mid lane pick. I just don't think Zoe has enough room to do much against this Syndra. Like, Mission is just way too experienced, and now we have a potential skirmish.
Yeah, 2v3 down bottom. You can see that Philia went in, but Arashi actually sitting on the front lines couldn't get a whole lot done, and Atlan staying just safe beyond the line of sight. The rest of CFO kind of just collapsed once more, and what was a numbers deficit turns into an advantage as they catch ClayX. Atlan a little bit slowed, but Gemini says, that's okay. I don't need your help. I'm good. And Gemini's doing Gemini things.
Yeah, the Gemini multi-stun combo, getting the Leona stuns down, then into the Viego stuns. I honestly feel like that just has to be an 80 carries worst nightmare, where your support is now taking vengeance back on you for taking away all of that CS and killing you with the assassin play as well.
Oh, Koala got out of that so easily, too. I didn't even catch that the first time. Arashi goes for the kick on the support. Doesn't have it. Body block. He limps away. Look at Atlas. This is an 80 carries dream right now. When you just have, like, fish in a barrel free farm. And you know he wanted that next kill. And ClayX just escapes from him. But wait. Here he comes. Gemini to the rescue.
Yeah, that's so painful. They definitely would have gotten that Koala kill if the hook didn't pull him away. So, staggering blows here, just doing work again. I'm sorry, Dredgeline just doing massive work again here for Koala and saving him in that one. And now it's a 7-1, and again, we just haven't seen Lazar be able to join these fights at all. He did 0 damage in that 4-man skirmish coming in from the side of CFO, and I hate to say it, I'd like that Twisted Fate a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have been able to do a bit more on the map, and I feel like to make things go from bad to worse, it's an Infernal Rift. So, I mean, this game could be over before Soul even gets on the table, but if CFO pick that one up, that gets even harder for SEM9 to try and fight. Of course, the window of opportunity is going to be closing fast.
It definitely is, and if we look at SEM9, their damage profile is very much just pure physical.
Oh. Goodbye, Lazar.
Yeah, and that was their only AP
option. The kickback. Oh, he has just enough to get in and finish the job. Actually, getting shutdown gold is massive here, and he will walk away with it, but the rare kill, you need a lot more. Oh, and he is lucky on that rocket. It goes right by, hits him with the emote. At least Arashi still knows how to have a good time.
Yeah, he does have the chicken wing wriggle as well at the very end there, just keeping his style points on. Very well done by Arashi.
Let's see that again.
Oh, that was so fun to watch here. And I think Mission actually, very interesting flash backward, so we'll see if he was doing that to drop turret aggro. Okay, he was trying to flash the Q2. Doesn't actually time it correctly. Arashi was holding on to that one for quite a while and still is able to find execute. It's been a long time since we looked at top lane, but it looks like, Gwen gets her dues.
Yeah, we're starting to see Rest come online. He's been involved in a couple of these skirmishes, hasn't really needed to do much more than that, just frontlining with the Mist. Meanwhile, Atlan is just solo rocket hitting this tower, should be able to finish the job on the next wave. And Koala actually just way up in river to try and keep this thing clear. So Arashi's had one really solid revenge play. He's been involved in these fights as well, and he's gotten a little bit of his due. But I feel like he needs to really be pulling double duty if he wants to get more done in this one. Because you look at how the gold is starting to get out of control. Rest and Mission are at a race to a top, with Atlan not too far behind. Nobody but Arashi's even in the running for top 5.
Yeah, he basically has no damage from the 3 of his laners at this point, so he pretty much has to kick Atlan into the entire team every single fight. Like that's the way SEM9 is gonna have to win these ones. And we talked about the itemization as we were just before like the plays happened. It's very easy for CFO to just stack armor, and SEM9 can't really do much. They're not getting enough damage from Lazar at this point, so it will just make the rest of the map just completely nullified.
Yeah, that's another tough thing about this composition, right? There's so much reliance on attack damage instead of magic. Rest spies Arashi over the red pit and just says, "Hey, what are you doing? Go back to your jungle." He's gonna get the red buff though. Let's see if he gets out with his life. That's the fun thing. Rocket lined right up, and Rest gets the final snip. And now the rest of SEM9 running for the hills here. Clemens Koala on the front line. Philia trying to get out. Does drop the solar flare, and he might be tanky, but Atlan will chew through him like paper. And Koala, kill secured.
Yeah, Koala didn't need to do that, but hey, he started this fight off with a bang. It definitely was. That was very aggressive from Arashi, and I don't think it was worth it whatsoever. He was trying to make stuff happen. As we were talking about, his laners are probably not going to be the ones to start this fight. He has to do it all by himself, and I felt like he was a little bit desperate on that one.
Yeah, Shelly dropped up top to finish off tier 2.
Gemini.
Oh, here comes Arashi. You talked about the aggression. Gets the double kick. Is this the opportunity? As Shiro picks up mission, and Arashi finishes off his opposite number. 2 quick pickups opens up a rare opportunity for SEM9 on the map.
That was absolutely huge because both of those players had a lot of standing gold on them. Gemini was a massive shutdown, first death in the game after 5 takedowns. And if that gold does go over to Shiroman, I believe, they will get some more gold in the bag to fight on. This is just such a beautiful move. He kicks for Gemini, but actually was eyeing mission the entire time. Gets the knockback. And honestly, this play wasn't worth it for CFO. They get 1 tower, but they give up a massive shutdown.
Yeah, I think they were buying a little much into their own hype on that one. You might be ahead, but there's always the opportunity for the collapse when you're that far forward. So I would expect CFO to maybe play back a little bit. That does force the reset. However, they have so much map control and so much more gold in a straight-up 5v5 invested in those items. I feel like this next Dragon should be pretty hard for SEM9 to contest.
Yeah, they're down almost 10,000 gold, but if we look at the shutdown, it did go over to Shiromine. And if you look at the build right now, CFO are not on the armor stack just yet. They haven't got their core items together. So with that Serrated Dirk, you could actually deal a lot of damage. What we're looking for right now is that Sleepy Trouble double bubble into that collateral damage. If you can land that on Atlan, there is some fighting chance.
There's always the opportunity there. Mission would also be a solid target if they can pull it off, but as it stands, no chance to contest on the Dragon. That is 3 for 3 for CFO. And now Shiromine is actually caught, and he decides to take the fight to Mission, thinking maybe I can do it. But wait a minute, there's 3 people on top of me. Where's the rest of my team? Oh, wait, they're in the mid lane, and I'm dead.
Aw, man. CFO are not honorable fighters. I guess Oyster is moved together, or I'm not even sure if
Have you ever seen a single Oyster, a single living Oyster at one point? I'm pretty sure they are in clusters.
Yeah, they kind of drift with the wave and just go with the flow, but
these are very aggressive Oysters.
That's true. CFO,
They're
not
flying,
honorable. That was clearly a duel. They did not hold to their own rules, and unfortunately, Shiromine is going to have to pay for that.
Yeah, a little unfortunate as he's doing a lot of work for the team at the moment after picking up Shutdown Gold, but, you know, freeing up the opportunity. Jinx is a big tower wrecker when she gets up to this point in the game, right? You can do so much just by virtue of being able to use the minigun over and over and over. You may not have like a big execution, but the consistent damage is key. Look at what SEM9 are doing, though. They're pushing their luck, and they're pushing the mid lane. The collapse is coming, and they have to know this is going on now. Scout of the week, they do get the stun off on Affiliate. Here comes the Super Mega Death Rocket, not going to land on anybody, but they do not need it as Atlan gets 1, Rest gets 2, and the team just get cleaned up.
Oh, there was absolutely nowhere to go. The Gwen was coming in from the back with a ghost, so you can't outrun her. She tags the slowdown. Koala lands the crown control. Gemini gets the stun to knock everything off. And once again, Atlan misses everything. This is actually really impressive to see when you have like mission landing stuff, when you have Nautilus and Gemini landing their crowd control, but you know Atlan's still not landing anything. Maybe the third time's a charm, but
unlucky.
You know, honestly, that was the only remarkable thing about that fight. I felt like everything else was just how it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, credit to SEM9 for not going quietly into the night. You know, they may not be making plays that are necessarily good percentages, good odds of winning, but they're not sitting back and waiting to die. And I respect that.
I feel like that play is a play that you have to do if you're this far behind in the game. What you're basically banking for is that the enemy cannot coordinate a flank at the same time. So you have a lot of burst potential. Maybe you can catch mission off guard, get a kill there, get a tower there. And a lot of times when teams are rushing in to try and defend their towers, they're going to be coming in but like one-on-one, and that will give you opportunities to pick them off. Unfortunately for CFO, their surround was just way too well done, and they landed too many critical crowd controls just right off the bat. So, you know, SEM9 really didn't find their chance.
Oh boy, 20-minute Baron right now. Should prompt a reaction, but with the superior 5v5, CFO are feeling pretty confident about their chances. Already down to 5,000 health. Mission just waiting in the brush. The curtain cultist is open. Arashi has to be a hero here. He's gonna go in, gets the steal! Will it be worth it in the end? We'll have to see. The steal goes down, and Bilia's gonna get caught here. Should get destroyed. The rest of the team needs to escape as the Sleepy Trouble Bubble does land. Arashi, man, his back must be breaking from all the carrying he's trying to do this game, Clement.
Yeah, we just saw a teleport from Shiromine as well as he goes directly back to the base to try and defend. Rest is eyeing on Klex.
Flash in. Rest is not done with him on the needlework, but Gwen is immune in the miss as she tries to move forward. Collateral damage, it's not going to be enough now. Shiromine is going to chase him all the way to Fountain, try to get that 1v1 delayed. And he, I believe, will be the only one to keep the Baron buff.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate right there. Overall, a 4-for-1 trade in favor of CFO. They don't get the Baron, but they crack the base open for that. I think, you know, this game, it was kind of going sideways very early on, but we got our money's worth just because of Arashi's performances so far.
Yeah, he timed that steal so well, waited in the brush. Nobody had any idea he was here until it was too late. I mean, this is really good timing.
Yeah, we call the cubby the smoking area in the PCS, and like he was chugging his cigarettes for a very long time before finally coming from that angle. No one expected it. It was a great steal, but unfortunately the rest of the team couldn't really make their great escape. This is kind of questionable from Graves. We actually saw the question mark pings from his own team, and let's see how Lazar gets flashed on.
You know, Lazar actually came close to killing Gemini.
True,
that was actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But Deja Vu strikes again. Filia realizes that he's not making it alive, so he chooses death here on his own terms. But unfortunately, that means Atlan's going to pick up the kill.
Yeah, and I don't think he actually found any of those Merc Wolves either, so no gold there. In the meantime, I love this from Arashi. He's going for the Hail Mary play, going all the way into the enemy red just to find a flank. But unfortunately for him, his support is dead, and he has to take the normal route to the battlefield.
Yeah, Klex opens up the curtain call, try and clear away the super minions. They will stop the push for now, but unfortunately, remember that Dragon Soul I was talking about earlier? That's on the table.
Yeah, there's really no hope for SEM9 taking this whatsoever. So I think this is just about defending the last push, you know? Defense of the Ancients, try to get your Nexus to stay alive as long as possible. Sorry.
It's okay. You know, after time, these things happen. Yeah,
I know,
so...
I'm a boomer. I got all these games mixed up in my head.
Oh, dude, tell me about it, man. I feel... You know what makes me feel really old? When I look at kits like Renata Glask. And I'm like, I remember when a passive and the 3 abilities were simple. Not anymore.
Yeah, you remember Nace's passive? It was just like, 12% lifesteal. That's a skill.
You know, it's easy. Patch notes were very simple in those days. They were a lot snarkier than they are now, too, I'll have to admit. But yeah, enough story time from us. I'm sure all the youngins in the chat want us to just get on with the game. So, CFO, you know, they obviously have this one in the bank. But SEM9 have shown a couple surprises, and if it's going to be another one, it's got to be Arashi with the Hail Mary, as you said. But they've got eyes on him right now, and he needs to get the flank, and it's Koala that's actually hitting the go button here as they catch Lazar. He's going to stop himself for just a second, not long enough to stay alive, it seems. And it looks like this is where CFO want to end this game. Shiromine limping back to his fountain alongside Arashi and Klax, but that is the base cracked wide, and this has got to be it. Just under 25 minutes, Arashi with the final kick, but his team just doesn't have the damage. Good night, SEM9 in their opening game here of the PCS. Rest will chase Arashi away as his team fires down onto the Nexus to take the game in a absolutely beautiful victory. They're going to wait for their teammates to come back. They want Rest to get the KDA.
No, Arashi was just way too good this game, so they have to knock him down a peg. They can't give him that satisfaction of letting him know he was a great player. Oh, the minions still finish it off.